Shalom. Another video on the essential messages of Hanukkah. Two things to teach about it. First of all, the root of the word, Hanukah. In the book of Proverbs, Mishlei, there's a proverb that says, when you train your child in the way they should go when they're young, when they're older, they won't depart from it. And the Hebrew word there for train is the root of the word Hanukkah. So it means to train. But when you go to Israel and you ask for the Department of Education, it's called Misrad HaChinuch, which is the same root also. So that root doesn't only mean train, it also means educate. And finally, in the context of Hanukkah, it means rededication. When the Jews came back to the temple, which had been desecrated by the Greek Syrians in 165 BCE, they rededicated it. And so Hanukkah has three meanings: to train someone, to educate someone, and to inculcate and rededicate. And the purpose of education is to achieve all three: to train people, to educate, and to inculcate. And so the question is, what do we inculcate? What are the basic goals of our lives? The second message about Hanukkah is related to that. Judah, we call Judah the Maccabee. Now, why do we call him the Maccabee? Well, it means the hammer, but it's not because his last name was Maccabee. But the story is that it's the acronym, the initials of the Hebrew expression that we say in all our prayers 3 times a day, Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, who is like you, O Lord, among the mighty. That's why, basically, that we have the very important phrase, Judah the Maccabee. And so the question now is, what do we commit ourselves to? And clearly, the idea of Judaism is there's no one like God, and we commit ourselves to God. So what are some of the basic messages? Well, first of all, as I mentioned before in my video on the menorah, the way we light candles turns out to be a compromise between Beit Hillel, that wanted to light 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then 4 to increase in holiness each night. So the first night 1 and the second night 2. And Beit Shammai, that wanted to start with 8 and then 7 and 6 and 5. And even though the rabbis decided that they were going to go with Beit Hillel and go increase in holiness, that you add to light, you don't decrease light, they wanted to support Shammai's way, and so they light them as if they're going Shammai's way from left to right. And so the art of compromise, even in religious matters, sometimes is necessary. But it also teaches us the very important lesson about trying to increase in holiness all the time. And also the idea of the dreidel, which you spin. It has different Hebrew letters. You never know what side is going to come up. And sometimes you're going to lose, sometimes you're going to stay even, sometimes you're going to get a little bit, sometimes you're going to get a lot. And you have to do everything you can in your life to live a holy life, because you don't know how that dreidel is going to spin. And 2 final thoughts. First of all, again, the last major line of the Haftorah for Shabbat Hanukkah from the prophet Zechariah. It's not ultimately by might and not ultimately by power, but by the Spirit of God. And finally, a beautiful song I love from Peter, Paul, and Mary called Don't Let the Lights Go Out. Even though Hanukkah is over this year in 2007, we won't get it again until 2008, 57, 69. We don't let the lights go out. We continue to burn them brightly. Shalom.